I'm Amanda. Today we're going to be doing a skull trigger. The skull series is going to have, I'm going to start with the PA axial Codwell method, then I'm going to move on to the lateral, then I'm going to turn her to face forward and do the AP axial Town method, and the last one I'm going to do is the SMV, which is the submento vertical projection, which is the Schuler's method. So before getting my patient, I'm going to detent my tube to 40 inches. All four views are going to be done at 40 inches. I'm going to clean my bucky with some alcohol wipes, and I'm going to put a towelette. I'm going to tape a towelette for the patient to put her face against the board. And we should be all set for our patient. All right. Kiki?
Yes. Hi. Hi.
My name is Amanda. I'm going to be taking your x-rays today. Can you confirm your last name and your date of birth for me?
Asefa, and it's 12/20/88.
Alrighty. And is there any chance that you might be pregnant today?
No.
Okay. And have you had any surgery or trauma to your cervical spine, your neck?
No.
And what are you, did you have any accident with your head or?
Just been having pain for the last few weeks.
Okay. So what I'm going to have her do is take off all her jewelry, her earrings, her necklace, and even ponytail holder, and we'll take some x-rays.
Good. Perfect.
I felt like I was missing something.
No,
but I don't
I
think
was
so.
like, you're good, you're good.
All right, Kiki, I'm going to have you have a seat on this stool and face the board. Get really close to the board, close as you can. Good. And put your nose and your forehead up against that napkin. Good. So we're starting with the PA axial Caldwell method. My CR is directed 15 degrees caudad, exits out the nasion. Put our left marker here. So the OML is going to be perpendicular to the IR, and she is straight on. Good. So we're going to collimate in. We don't need the facial bone, so we're just going to skim the top of her head, pull it into the lateral sides. I'm going to shield my patient. And I'm going to set up the console for 85 kVp at 14 mass. All right, Kiki, hold real still. Hold your breath. X-ray. Okay, take a breath. Go ahead and relax. So now I'm going to have her turn her head to the right. And kind of keep your body up and close to the board. You can put your arms around here. Good. So now we're going to be doing the lateral method. I'm going to take my tube angle off. And for this one, both the mid-sagittal plane, or the mid-sagittal plane is going to be parallel to the IR, and the IOML is going to be perpendicular to the front edge of the IR, as well as the interpupillary line is going to be perpendicular to the IR. Looks like she's nice and straight and good. The CR is going to enter about 2 inches superior to the EAM. So I'm going to adjust my bucky. This board's going to move. There you go. You doing okay?
Yes.
Yeah, and the IOML is also going to be parallel to the plane of the IR. Okay, so scoot forward just a little bit. There you go. A little bit more. Good. Nice and straight. Let's collimate down. We can be right below the level of the ear. We don't need the jaw. Left marker. And for this, I'm going to set the technique at like 80 at maybe 6, 7 max. All right. Hold your breath. Shooting x-ray. Okay, go ahead and breathe and relax. All right. So now, Kiki, I'm going to have you turn around and put your back of your head against the board. Good. Get you nice and centered here. Good, you're fine. So we're going to be doing the AP axial town method. For this one, we're going to make, it depends on how far your patient can tuck the chin. The goal is to get the OML perpendicular to the IR. So if they can tuck their chin really far, you really only have to have a 30-degree caudad angle. If they can't tuck their chin quite as much, you're going to bump that up to 37 degrees. So. Set my tube angle. Go ahead and close your eyes for me, Kiki. So the CR for this one is going to be, let's make her a little bit more centered. Okay, right there. Can you tuck your chin all the way down as far as you can go? Good. So the CR enters at 2.5 inches above the glabella and should be exiting around the level of the EAM, which is right here. Good. So since she can tuck her chin really far, I'm only putting this at 30 degrees. The OML is perpendicular to the IR. Fixed our Bucky. The Bucky's gonna move behind you. I'm gonna switch my marker out to the right. We can collimate in from side to side here. She's nice and centered. Right marker. And for this, I'm gonna set my console probably at like 80 kVp at 12 mass. All right, hold real still, hold your breath. Shooting X-ray. Okay, go ahead and breathe and relax. Okay, so we're gonna do one more view. We're going to do the SMV. It's also the Schuler's method. For this one, we're also going to have just a straight perpendicular CR angle. For this one, the mid-sagittal plane and the IOML should be perpendicular to the IR. Close your eyes for me. So we kind of want to set things up before because we're going to have them do some extreme extension of the neck. The CR is going to enter on the mid-sagittal plane between the mandibular brami, which is the angles of the jaw here, and the CR is going to be directed at about 3/4 of an inch anterior to the EAM, which is right here. So we took our angle off. Okay, Kiki, this one's a little bit more uncomfortable, so just bear with me. Try to tip your chin up as far as possible. Good. Okay, so she has a good angle there. Nice and straight on the mid-sagittal plane right there. That's good. So we want to see a little bit of the nose in the shadows there. So that's good. And we're 3/4 of an inch anterior to the EAM. So now we can just collimate in. Good. Here's our marker. Oh, I should whip my Bucky a little bit. Just keep your head right like that. Sorry, this is uncomfortable. There you go. So for this, I'm going to set my technique to like 80 kVp at 30 mass. Hold it right there. Shooting X-ray. Okay, you can go ahead and relax. Oh, that was the school series.
It's so good.
Now we're moving on to the image evaluation portion of the trigger. The first image that I took was the PA axial skull, the Codwell method. So a normal PA skull would be taken with no angulation of the central ray, but for the Codwell method, we add a 15-degree angle caudad, and we're trying to have that central ray exit out the nasion at a 15-degree angle. What that does is brings our petrous ridges, we see here, to the bottom thirds of the orbits. Without that 15-degree angulation, the orbits would be completely filled. So the Codwell method lower thirds are filled by the petrous ridges. We see here, this is the crista galli of the ethmoid bone. These are the ethmoid sinuses. So what we're looking for in this image is we want the mid-sagittal plane right down the middle of the collimation. We want the lateral borders of the skull equidistant from the lateral edges of the orbits. So this is pretty good. Next we'll look at the lateral skull. For this, we want to put the patient into an RAO or LAO position to make a true lateral. And we want the interpupillary line to be perpendicular to the IR. And when we're looking to see no rotation and no tilt of the head. So to see that, we want to see the sella tunica, which is right here, of the sphenoid. It should be in full profile, which it is here. Also to see that we don't have any tilt or superimposition, we should see the roof of the orbits, floor of the orbits. They should all be superimposed, which is pretty good here. Another way to see that there's no superimposition would be that the mandibular rami have no, that they're completely superimposed. We can't really see that in this image, which is fine. We really don't need the chin or the jaw in this image since it's just the skull and we're not looking at the facial bones. We want to see that the EAM is in, those should be superimposed as well, the greater wings of the sphenoid. So this is actually a true lateral position. Now we're looking at the AP axial cranium, the Town method. So for this one, the goal is to see the foramen magnum here. And to do that, we need to have our patient tuck the chin as far forward as possible. If they're able to tuck the chin really far down, we only need an angulation of about 30 degrees caudad. But if the patient can't tuck their chin very much, we need to make sure we have a 37-degree angle to the IOML. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to see this foramen magnum. So our goal here is to see the foramen magnum, and with the dorsum celli right here in the middle, we want to make sure that we have no rotation. To see that, our petrous ridges should be equidistant, same level. Another way to tell if there's any rotation or tilt, the lateral borders of the skull should be equidistant from the foramen magnum. It looks like this guy is slightly tilted that way, but I wouldn't repeat the image because we're pretty spot on. And that's about it. The last image that we're going to review is a submentovertical projection, which is the Schuler method. This is the projection that we're going to be having our patient hyperextend their neck back. That back of their head is resting on the bucky. So for the success of this image, we want the IOML to be as nearly parallel to the plane of the IR as possible. And if we can get the IOML parallel, then our CR is going to be perpendicular to both the bucky and the IOML. It is a difficult position for some patients to hold. So if the IOML is not parallel to the IR or the bucky, we can't have a perpendicular central ray. So we'd have to angle that central ray so that it is completely perpendicular to the IOML. But if we get that IOML in perpendicular to the CR, what we're going to be seeing here, we should have some just even symmetrical petrous ridges right here. This is our occipital bone back here. This is actually the dens, or the odontoid of C2. what we're looking for is symmetry here. This is the mandible right here, and these are the mandibular condyles. And we want to see, we want symmetrical, equidistant spaces between the lateral borders of the skull and the condyles, mandibular condyles. These aren't quite perfect. It's fairly close though. These are the ethmoidal air cells. We want to see free and clear of superimposition. Maxillary sinus is right here. It's kind of blown or burned out, I guess. But yeah, the main goal here is to see petrous ridges, symmetrical mandibular condyles, symmetrical